Well, let's bring in right now Democratic Majority Whip, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. He's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Senator, first of all, would love to get your reaction to historic, just historic midterms. Wait, nobody around here, nobody we've talked to, has seen any midterm like it in their lifetime.
When you do the analysis, and we've been sitting down doing it ever since, it really was a fascinating election. I think it starts with the fact that we had quality candidates. Number two, I think our position was in sync with most Americans. Look at the turnout of women who were expressing their strongly held feelings on the issue of reproductive health. We also had a situation where we had a record to speak of, a record that most Americans can understand and identify with. And then we had the extremism on the other side, which was rejected by the voters in virtually every contest in a swing state. The denialists lost, as I'd hoped they would, and maybe we're back on track towards something that's more reliable in our future.
Senator, I wonder whether yesterday's historic vote on the Respect for Marriage Act, whether that may have been influenced in part by the election results and maybe some Republicans, enough Republicans, understanding that if they keep taking positions that only their most extreme members of their base support, they're just not going to win general elections as much.
Joe, you put your finger on it. I've spoken to some Republican senators who sat for hours trying to analyze what happened to them on November 8th. And one of the most fundamental questions they faced was, what is our base? What do they believe in? Is it just MAGA Republicans loyal to Trump and his bizarre agenda? Or is there more to it? Is it basic conservatism? They've got to make that decision. And the House of Representatives on Capitol Hill is going to be ground zero in this civil war within the Republican Party. This 4-vote margin that they came up with to take control of the House of Representatives, you served in the House as I did too. That can evaporate with absences on the day of the vote. So you really can see some uncertainty in this future.
Senator, good morning. It's good to see you. Let me ask you about the race in Georgia. There's been some talk that perhaps the stakes have been lowered a little bit because you all already have the majority now in the Senate. But how important would it be to you to have that 51st vote so that you didn't have to always turn to see what Joe Manchin or Kyrsten Sinema was thinking to get anything done?
Well, that's true, and I think your analysis is correct, but we're taking Georgia very seriously. We believe that we have another quality candidate who can prevail. The fall-off in votes for the Republican candidate in the regular election suggests that many Georgia Republicans were not excited about Donald Trump's choice for Senate in the state of Georgia. We think we have a quality candidate who's working hard. He's going to have support from across the country. I'm being contacted by friends who say, how can I help? It just tells me that the December 6th election is going to be one that is really national attention from start to finish.
Senator, we're hearing voices on the extreme MAGA right, people who are actually seeming to do Vladimir Putin's bidding, talking about the United States no longer supporting the pushback of Vladimir Putin, no longer supporting the freedom of the Ukrainian people. I'm curious, what do you believe the prospects are for Congress continuing to lend support to Ukraine in their fight against the Russian invasion?
I think there's a solid bipartisan group of senators, I hope House members as well, who are committed to standing by Ukraine in this battle. These people in Ukraine are dying every single day. They're going through deprivations that Americans can't even really appreciate, and we've got to stand by them. I think the Biden administration has done that. It's been bipartisan in the Senate. When we have suggestions from some members of the House on either the extreme left or the extreme right that they're growing impatient, I just think to myself, for goodness sakes, the people in Ukraine did not invite this invasion. They're fighting it back successfully in an inspiring way. We need to stand together on a bipartisan basis with NATO and in behalf of the Ukrainian people.
All right, Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Senator Dick Durbin, thank you very much for being on this morning.